Is your estate agent being honest? If you're on the market and struggling to sell your home, you've been on the market for some time, then I want to hear from you. Houses generally don't sell for only 3 reasons. 1, they're overpriced and they're not competitive for the market that you're in. 2, the agent is not actively promoting your property and has no plan on how they're going to sell it. Or 3, the presentation is just all wrong and therefore the home is not appealing, and no amount of selling in the world is probably going to get your property sold. And it's that third question around presentation and marketing that I really want to focus on today and address the question, is your estate agent being honest with you? Now, I don't want to imply for a moment that your estate agent is deliberately lying to you or in fact deliberately misleading you. But my question around the honesty is, are they telling you exactly what it is you need to know in order to get your house sold, which is, by the way, hopefully what you're paying them to do. And what got me thinking about this was I knocked on some people's door back in December 2023. To my shock and horror, they didn't jump at the chance of instructing me to sell their house straight away. But we did keep in touch over the next 4 to 5 months on a fairly regular basis. But I'd almost given up actually, because during that time I felt they were never going to come away from this estate agent. For some reason, they just seemed to have a large amount of loyalty to this agent. It turned out their estate agent had signed them into a long 26-week agreement, and of course they were desperately unhappy, but there wasn't a lot they could do or felt they could do at that time. Their agent advised them to reduce their price by about £15,000 as a way to gain entry to a sale event that they were running. Now, this sale event, and this agent does this a lot, they run various sales throughout the year. They might call it an Easter sale, a Christmas sale, a summer sale, a whatever sale. But basically, they run these sales opportunities when they perceive the market is quiet, and therefore, if they can get a load of their clients to reduce the price of their house, then hopefully they will make a few more sales, which is great from a business perspective. But from the client's perspective, you've got to ask the question, are they paying for your sale by reducing their price? Anyway, the sale event came and the sale event went, and surprise, surprise, despite reducing their price by £15,000, these clients did not sell. And about 6 weeks later, they finally picked up the phone and gave me a call, and I went along to see them. The moment I walked into this property, I knew exactly the reasons why this home wasn't selling. We did the usual meet and greet. The client showed me around the property. The property definitely had potential, but I knew that the way things stood, this house was never going to sell, well, frankly, in a month of Sundays. So when the tour was over and we sat down, and I said to the clients, look, can you tell me honestly why you think your house hadn't sold? And they said to me, we just don't know. We've done everything that the estate agent has asked us to do. The feedback we've had gives no clear reason as to why our house isn't selling. Different buyers come up with different reasons. There doesn't seem to be any commonality as to what is preventing my home from actually selling. How honest do you want me to be with you? Because I can give you the standard estate agency speak if that's what you want, or I can be 100% honest with you. And when I've given you my view and what I think the reasons are that your house hasn't sold, you can then decide whether I'm the right agent for you, and indeed if you think we're going to work together. So I had the pleasure, if that's the word, of telling these people, these good folks, that as things stood, they were not going to sell their house for the price that they were currently asking. And in fact, if they weren't prepared to make some changes, then obviously they're probably going to have to reduce their house by another £20,000 to get it sold, or consider going to auctions. And I explained the various options that were there. I said, but in that event, the likelihood is you're going to sell for a lot less money than you are now. Is that something that you want to do? And they said, well, it's something that we would consider, actually, much to my surprise. And I said, well, hang on a minute. How about we talk about representing the property? Take it off the market. Let's represent it in a good light and then remarket it at the current asking price. And I explained to them that this wasn't going to cost loads of money, but they got boxes in every room. They got an exercise bike in the dining room. You know, they just needed to take all these boxes out, put them in the shed out of the way, put the dining room back to what it was designed for, i.e. a dining room table and chairs, make the room functionable. They had some dark paint in the hallway and in some of the bedrooms. And I just said, look, you need to put all this back to white, ideally, or magnolia, but put it back to a blank canvas so that a buyer coming in here can see the potential of the property and can visualize putting their own mark on the property. Well, that's exactly what they did. And fair play to them, they worked really hard. But the only money they spent was on tins of paint. The rest of it was their time getting involved in the project, knowing what the end game was going to be, that they wanted to make a sale. And it took them about 3 weeks of their time. Obviously, they've got to fit in and around work and that sort of thing. But basically, they'd done everything that we agreed, and we were soon able to represent the property back to the market. Now, my concern, if I was honest, was this property had been very well exposed. It had been on Rightmove and Zoopla and the other portals for about 9 months. So no matter which way you slice it, everybody would know that this property was and has been for sale for quite some time. However, when I launched this property back to the market, it was on a Monday afternoon. I received a telephone inquiry within 12 and a half minutes of launching the property live. I was absolutely amazed. Over the next couple of hours, we managed to book 9 viewing appointments to show people around in the next 48 hours. And suffice to say, we agreed a sale within a couple of days at pretty close to their original asking price. This was all kind of whirling around in my head, and I was thinking, you know, these poor people, they could have been moved probably 3 months prior to this if only the agent had sat them down and been really honest with them and explained, this is what you need to do to get your house sold. Now, I think this is probably a lot more common than we realise. And if you're struggling to sell your home, then, you know, please get in touch with me. I'll be happy to talk to you.